I'm Len Groom, Technical Product Manager for Power Sports at AMSOIL, and we are here in Primm, Nevada at the first TORC test session of the year, and I've got Scott Douglas, Chad Horde, and Brad Lovell with me. Last year, during the season, we tried something somewhat experimental, and we started looking at the oil that's coming out of these guys' engines. So we ran consistent oil samples, we look at the analysis, and we tried to trend each one of the drivers. The benefits of oil analysis can be translated over to the race teams. Any information that we can give to them, they're all ears.
One of our examples I come up with is at Crandon. I mean, it was a really dusty, heavy track, and every guy you passed, you're just ingesting all the dirt. The motor even started not even running right at the end. What we found out is the air filter was plugged up, and that's the biggest thing from all this dirt we had. But what all does that do to our engine when that happens?
Well, if you take a look at it, your iron starts to climb. If the filtration starts to get plugged up and it starts to fail, you're going to start seeing some wear metals climb. So you're getting a little bit of wear inside that engine. We saw it in the oil analysis and we proved it. You can make sure that you've got that air filter taken care of.
At Crandon, Wisconsin for the World Championships, we were running strong and we were running for a championship, and with like 3 laps to go, started pushing all the coolant out the motor, and the guys on the radio, Chad, we got to finish. We pushed it, crossed the finish line, smoke coming up, and we got back to the shop, pulled all the oil analysis, sent it back to you, and the comment that you had given back to me is that the 50 weight of the motor didn't change.
You put a ton of heat into this oil. So what can happen is it starts to oxidize or it starts to break down. This oil started out when you poured it in the truck as a 50 weight, even though you put it through probably 280 plus 300 degrees of temperature for an extended period of time. It did not oxidize, it did not break down, and it was still a 50 weight when you took it out of it.
So there's no test you guys can do back at the factory. I mean, we're proving it right here.
This cannot be duplicated in a lab. We have to put it in the truck and put it under those conditions to see if it's going to work. When you've made that decision to push it, that's where we design these oils to perform when the pressure's on.
The oil is the lifeblood of the motor, and this is like a health report on your engine. So we can see how fast we're burning up stuff, when we need to get rebuilt, and that in the long run is going to keep us consistent and keep us doing well, because we're not going to be facing catastrophic engine failures. Whether it's a short course race, a weekend of testing, or 600 miles of silt and dust with only 5 quarts of oil, I'm really seeing a lot of consistency, and I would think we'd see a lot more variation than that.
But you consistently have put extended amounts of time on your oil, and it continues to hold together. It's still a 50 weight. It's not oxidizing. And your wear metals are boring, like I said. Nothing is high. Everything is very, very consistent. So that kind of was proof that when everything's working properly, even though you leave it in there a little bit longer, it's still capable of providing protection.
Well, and I think it shows what kind of a product it is, and I guess the results speak for themselves.
You can see, based on each one of the individual drivers' different needs, they all use different engines, they all have different needs, and they all had some different results.
I think it was real beneficial for us and all the other teams running AMSOIL, the research that AMSOIL is doing and progressing down the road, and it saves us money as racers.
We're going to continue to try and provide data for these guys. They do so much testing for us, we want to be able to try and provide some data for them. So Scott, Chad, Brad, thank you very much.